Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 6. Brace for the Impact, I believe it's called, or whatever. So yeah, we're just going to get on to it. Before we start, I want to wish everybody happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Thank you to Dr. King. Without him, to say the least, I wouldn't be here today, wouldn't be able to do these recaps for you guys. So happy Martin Luther King Day to those who celebrate it. I hope you guys enjoy your day. So anyway, the first couple I want to talk in this recap is Forrest and Sheena. So this is the episode where Forrest is finally meeting Sheena's parents. And we actually had a break from Forrest's mom, Molly, in this episode. So after last week when they were all cramped up and traveling to where Sheena's family is at, they finally arrived there, and they actually kind of arrived to this bed and breakfast type place, and we got to meet Sheena's dad and Sheena's sister. I guess the mom is sick or whatever, and they meet the sister. They were pretty quiet, basically, and everything. And Forrest is looking around at this place, and he said it over the past that Sheena needed money to fix the roof of this place and this and that and everything. Well, this place looked very, very nice, really nice and everything. So and Sheena said that, the producers asked Sheena, do you think Forrest was expecting something different? And she said, and that she hasn't been honest about something. And something is now off, because that place where their parents are saying that, whether if it's a bed and breakfast or where they live or whatever, that was a really nice place. Really nice place. So after Forrest and Sheena get into their room and stuff and everything, Forrest gets to get cleaned up and everything, and then later they have a little. We seen them have this dinner or whatever, and Sheena's family asked Forrest, "What were you expecting, coming here?" And Forrest was just honestly, I was really expecting a scam. I was expecting a scam. And, and he told them that my mother has a lot of reservations and everything, and this and that, but I was really expecting a scam. And the dad was just there are scammers all around here. The best thing you got to do is just prove her wrong. Prove her wrong. And, okay, yeah, that's true, but yeah, looking at that house and looking at whether if it's their house or the bed and breakfast or whatever, that was a really nice place. Really nice place. So somebody is clearly lying, and I'm really curious to see this left me with a lot of questions, because somebody really is lying. So yeah, but that was Forrest and Sheena. Next couple I want to talk is Aviva and Stig. So Aviva and Stig has a performance now, and we've seen Aviva and Stig out on a date. Were they on a boat ride again? They were just out on a date and everything, preparing for this concert or this performance that Stig got and everything. And Aviva asked him, what songs are you performing? And he lists the songs that he was going to perform. And one of the songs he's performing is that song called Vicky. Now, remember, when we first met Aviva, her aunt said that there's a song from Stig called Vicky that he may have another girl and everything. And so Aviva asked Stig, who is this Vicky? Somebody you used to mess with? And he's like, yeah, years and years ago. It's about a song, he tried to describe what the song really meant to him and everything. And then Aviva asked him, realistically, I really don't want you performing that song. I don't mind you doing everything else, but I really don't want you to perform that song and everything. And, he's not too thrilled about it, but it was okay. So Aviva and Stig go to the club where his performance is at and everything. And Stig gets up and he starts performing and he starts singing. Aviva is dancing, doing that little party girl type dance, club dance or whatever, vibing to the music and everything. And Stig is singing to her. He's singing to her and everything. Next thing you know, Stig goes against Aviva's wishes and performs Vicky. And when he was performing Vicky, another girl, he was on the stage with him, and he was talking to her and singing to her and everything. Aviva was PO'd. So, so Aviva, she was upset, and then she gets on her phone. Now she's in the front row, like she's like front row, so she can see him and he can see her and everything. She starts going and playing on her phone and starts texting her friends and everything. And while Stig was singing, he noticed that, and it threw him off. And he's just like, what the heck is she doing? Why is she on her phone? And then he apparently, on one of his songs, forgot the lyrics to his songs because he was so distracted by Aviva being on her phone. And in this particular case, I actually agree with Stig on this one because, I get Aviva's mad about the him singing Vicky, but if I'm on stage and I have my partner with me and stuff, and then I see her just not listening, and just have her head down on the phone, I kind of would be feeling some type of way and feeling like, okay, why you like you're supposed to be here supporting me. Now I don't make it sound like this sounds selfish, but I see why Stig was really upset. I mean, he really let that affect him a lot. So I do see the frustration that he had when Aviva was on her phone. So after the performance, Aviva and Stig went back to their hotel, and Stig is kind of upset about it, and he was like, I forgot my words and everything. She was like, oh, don't be too hard on yourself, this and that, and everything. You did great. And then she had the audacity to ask him, so how did I do? And he was like, honestly, you were on your phone, you distracted me. And she was like, well, you played Vicky even though I asked you not to, and you had other girls dancing to you and everything. But he was like, you're supposed to be on my team and everything. She's like, well, if you're doing that, I'm going to be texting. I was texting my friends, texting my people, because I have nobody here. And he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're supposed to be on my team. And that was just a big distraction. That's why I ended up messing up my lyrics. And she was just like, sorry, and everything. So, I mean, I understand that she probably didn't realize that what she was doing that was a distraction, because she probably didn't. Not too many people will notice that. But me personally, if my partner was on stage, I'll be invested in that performance. I'll be recording, vibing, especially if they're singing to me. Okay, other than the Vicky song, Stig was singing to Aviva. So I understand Stig's perspective and frustration when it came to that and everything. And I see why he was frustrated when she asked him, how did I do? And then she realized, oh, I guess I didn't do as well as I thought. I'm trying not to be the jealous type and everything and be supportive, but it is what it is. So that was Aviva and Stig. Next couple I want to talk is, let's see here, Laura and Bearcon. Bearcon's kind of dangerous. Last week, he revealed to us that he was $50,000 in debt. And I forgot to mention this last week. He's also, he still has a big question mark on how he currently makes money now and everything. And it sounds very, very suspicious. I'm not going to speculate on what it is. I kind of have an inkling. And when it gets brought out, it's not going to be well. But Bearcon is a dangerous person, and he wants to flee his country just to avoid paying the debt. That is dangerous. And he's trying to use Laura as that scapegoat or whatever. So in this episode, they get back to the hotel. She's still like really taken back on what happened and everything. And he goes and starts doing dishes. She comes in and is like, what are you doing? And then she was just like, you just gonna walk away from me from the conversation we were having? And then the next thing you know, he starts grabbing her and pushes her up against the wall and starts kissing her and everything. And Laura was just like, this is all of my fantasies coming true. Really? Really? You want a man like grabbing you that aggressively and he moving and kissing you like that and everything? Really? I did not find that appealing. And I can honestly say I never done that. I never like in a heated conversation would just grab my woman and push her against the wall and start kissing her and everything. Not like that. Definitely not like that. That was aggressive, that was controlling, and that was dangerous. You know, she may like that, but that's going to come back to haunt you. So they did that, and then later they go to this place. I can't even describe this place they went. It's someplace in Turkey and everything. And now the conversation about Laura's best friend Michael pops up. She mentions Michael, and Bear Con was just like, F Michael and everything. And she was like, well, he's my best friend. Like, we do everything together. And he was like, I don't want you like being friends with him basically and everything. And she was like, you know, but we do everything together. And he's like, you know, you're asking me to choose between me and him and everything. Are you giving me an ultimatum? He's like, it's not an ultimatum, but I'm with you and you're not with him and everything. And Laura's all upset because it's the first time she's seen the controlling side of Bear Con and everything. And, you know, I said this in the beginning. It is uncomfortable. I see his point with it. It is uncomfortable when your girlfriend has that male best friend that is always around, that low-key somebody has feelings for, and is brought into your new relationship and everything. And no matter what, like, if Bear Con broke up with Laura, she would be with Michael, whether Michael would want to or not. That's my opinion, and I've seen that. That may be like a bad assumption, but I've seen that so many times. Been a victim from that plenty of times as well, and everything. Laura would be with Michael. If Bear Con broke up with Laura, she would be with Michael. I wouldn't say it wouldn't be right away, but eventually she would be with Michael and everything. So, and I do know Michael will be paying her a visit in Turkey during this trip and everything, and Bear Con's not going to be happy about that. But in my opinion, Bear Con is very dangerous, and I'm just really keeping my eyes open and watching him deeply, because him pushing her up on the wall like that. I mean, she may thought that was cute. I did. And I thought that was very disrespectful. You know, maybe I mean, behind closed doors, if y'all getting your groove on and everything, whatever y'all want to do, I mean, that's fine. But on that and on camera, that's not a good look for you. It really is not. So yeah, that was Laura and Bear Con. Next couple I want to talk is freaking creepy Rick and Trish. So Rick and Trish, after, and I forgot to, and I failed to mention this last week. Well, I mentioned it, but I got it wrong. Last week, it was Trish's ex-boyfriend's friend who brought that bike, not her ex. I wanted to correct myself with that. It was her ex-boyfriend's friend, but still everything else was right. He kept on grilling the ex's friend, everything. Rick is so intimidated by Trish's ex. He is so like, I guess realistically, her ex actually has might have a tad bit more going for him than Rick does, clearly. So, but in this episode, and you know, Rick and Trish are getting ready to go to this really nice like beach type place. They're going on an actual vacation in Madagascar. They go to this like beach and island and everything. It was beautiful. They get off the plane and go into an Uber or whatever to get to the place, and they're riding around and they see a mall. They pass a mall, and Trish is like, you know, we may need to stop at that mall, and maybe you could buy me a new bathing suit or whatever. When she asked him to buy him a bathing suit and everything, Rick flipped out. He flipped out. He was like, I'm not doing this. What do you think I am for? A sugar daddy? Like, you don't tell me to buy you something. I ain't doing that and everything. He just had a fit. I'm like, dude, she just asked, can you buy me a bathing suit? It's not like she asked you to buy her car, and they had like a big argument about it. Trisha's just like, what do you think you're taking me for? He's like, I didn't come here for that. I will give you everything that you need. I'm already helping you with a lot of things what you need. I'm going to give you what you need, but not what you want. But dude, that's still your girl. And then he brought up, I guess he's been paying her rent. He threw that back in her face. I've been paying your rent. Okay, good, you paid my rent, but I just asked for a freaking bathing suit and everything. So the argument really got nowhere. But he clearly overreacted. It's just she just asked for him to buy him a bathing suit or whatever. It wasn't like it was like an expensive $400 meal and everything, because he said that Trish has expensive taste. But what bathing suit would cost like over $100 in my opinion, even in Madagascar? I mean, I'm just asking. But they decided to put that argument on a pause for now, and they go to the beautiful place they were at. They were at the beach and everything, drinking coconut water and stuff and everything. And they had a conversation about it. You know, he did apologize for his behavior. He's like, I will give you. I can't always give you what you want, but I will always give you what you need, basically, and everything. And she was saying, if I come to the United States, I gotta leave all of this stuff behind. I just need you to really be there for me, basically. So they call it a truce for then, and then they decide to go play in the ocean and everything. And I tell you, that place that they're at, it was I'm gonna keep saying it was beautiful. It was very, very, very beautiful. But yeah, Rick is just, he keeps bringing up her ex. He keeps throwing her ex in her face and everything. And I know, like, I get it, but it doesn't have to be all the time, because yeah, I'm always intimidated by anybody's exes. Like, exes always win. Like 9 times out of 10, they always win, unless it's like super 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 bad, and where you really can't be around that person again legally. But 9 times out of 10, an ex is always going to win. So when you're in a new relationship, you're trying so hard for them to get over their ex and not want to go back to their ex. But but at the same time, the more he does that, the more that she is going to miss her ex and then go back to her ex. So he needs to have try to chill out with throwing the ex in her face and everything and stuff and everything. And I still think he's creepy. I'm sorry, he really is. And let's not forget, he still has a secret to tell Trisha about the Colombian ex that he went to go see when she goes to him 5 days. And speaking of secrets, let's talk about freaking Lisa and Daniel. So Lisa and Daniel, so they're waking up from their first night and everything. And Lisa has not been with a man in years. And, they got their groove on and everything. Lisa wakes up and tells Daniel, his rear end was really hot and everything. And then she was just like, what else is attractive about you? Your Audi belly button. Okay, belly buttons are attractive now. Okay, maybe some people like that. Okay, not me. Don't really care, but but okay. And then she was describing how, like, in the beginning he asked but she had a hard time handling it at first, to say the least, because I guess she was screaming and everything and whatnot. And yeah, it just she said that he didn't finish, and she just feels like he's not attracted. He probably isn't fully attracted to her as like we initially thought. Like, maybe she was right. Maybe he, like last week when they got to the hotel and he just wanted to go to bed, maybe he really wasn't really fully attracted to her, but still tried. So he was like, so she was just like, even though we were intimate, it still felt like we weren't. So anyway, enough about that. So Lisa has to meet Daniel's uncle, and they have to get the blessing from him in order for them to get married and everything. And this episode, we seen Lisa and Daniel. They go like to the market and everything. They go and pass like these chickens and everything. When they went to the chicken, past the chickens, it reminded me so much of last season with Chidi and Renee. Because remember, Renee was such a big chicken lady, and they call her the chicken lady and everything. And then remember last year she had a fit when Chidi's sister wanted to kill the chicken to bring home for dinner and stuff, and she was like, "Let the chicken live." It reminded me of that scene. So, but Lisa held a chicken. She did say, "I would never kill a chicken. Never gonna chicken. We ain't gonna do that. I'm never gonna kill a chicken," and everything. Next thing they do is like Daniel wanted to get Lisa some African attire for when she goes and fully meets the uncle and everything. And so like they get some attire, get her the attire and everything, and it looked pretty nice and everything. And like I said, I did like the fact that Lisa, when she arrived to the airport, she was like dancing with the African dancers and everything. I thought that was pretty cool and nice of Lisa to do that. So they get her some like attire to wear. It's not like her style, but she's trying to be respectful and mindful of it. Now this is where things get really crazy. Lisa and Daniel are now at a dinner, and I guess like she bought some kind of like alcoholic beverage or whatever. Daniel don't really drink, really, and I guess like there was like a word for, I think the word was like palm wine or whatever, and it was said like what they call it in Nigerian or whatever. I couldn't even pronounce it, fua or something like whatever. But Daniel was trying to teach Lisa how to pronounce this drink in his language, and she had a hard time doing it. She said, "I can't. I'm having a hard time." And then he started yelling at her. It's like, "Come on!" He raised his voice and got aggressive, like, "Come on, try it," and everything. And Lisa was like, "Oh heck no! You ain't gonna talk to me like that." She was like, "Stop raising your voice," and everything. And she's like, "Come on, you gotta learn this, and everything." She's like, "Stop raising your voice at me." And then he puts his hand in front of her face. He's like, and asks her, "Are you drunk?" She's like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not drunk. I only had one sip." And he's like, one sip can still do a lot to you." She's like, "No, you're the one who changing right now. You're yelling at me and everything." And he was like, "Okay, well, get up and walk. Let me see if you're walking straight." So she's like, "I'm going to get up and walk, and I'm going to walk out and everything." And so she gets up and walks out. She's like, "Daniel never was like this. Daniel's yelling at me. I ain't going to be going back there until Daniel apologizes. He'll talk to me that way and everything." And then Daniel's like, "Oh, shoot. So she really laughed? Like, what?" So then Daniel comes back outside. He's like, "Baby, what are you doing?" And Lisa was like, "You're yelling at me. You're yelling at me and everything. I'm trying. I don't want you talking to me that way." And then he does the, "Oh, baby, I'm so sorry, baby. I don't yell at you. I'm so sorry. Let's go back in," and everything. And I was like, "No, it don't work like that, dude." And then he's like, "Oh, still, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to yell and all that." I saw a different side of Daniel. So Beercon and Daniel saw different sides. I mean, I kind of expected different Beercon, but yeah, just over not pronouncing the alcoholic beverage the right way, everybody just had like a big meltdown over it. Wow. Wow. So yeah, Lisa is Lisa's something else, but I'm finally glad that Lisa was actually being serious in this episode finally, instead of just acting like that little giddy schoolgirl that we've seen the last 6 weeks or whatever. so wait, this episode is episode 7. Okay. But anyway, yeah, but that was basically it. We did not, thank God, we did not see Emma and Zia in this episode. And we also didn't see Jovan and Annalyn, and I was kind of disappointed because, that's my couple now. Jovan and Annalyn, especially Annalyn. Annalyn's my girl, so I love her and everything. And we still have yet to meet Elise and her guys. So rumor has it that somebody, when Elise's scenes come up later in the season, somebody's going to be off. So people are speculating that it might be Emma and Zia, which I hope that is the case because they're the only couple that's really not doing well right now. But yeah, I'm glad we had a little break for them. But anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back on tomorrow to recap the regular season finale of 90 Day the Other Way before we get ready for that tell-all. And remember, in a couple weeks, The Single Life returns, so we will be covering that. I'm still watching some other shows like on Netflix and Paramount and stuff to figure out what new material to cover and stuff, because I need to cover something else besides 90 Day at least until Married at First Sight comes back. So, and no, I'm not doing Love After Lockup. Sorry, guys. I know there's a lot of Love After Lockup fans. That show, the title of it makes me cringe. Just the title of it makes me cringe. You know, I'm sorry. I don't like talking too much about myself, but growing up, I was always the nice guy, and wanting that girlfriend, and then the girlfriend doesn't choose me and chooses the person in jail. Happened too much in my life, and when I hear about the show Love After Lockup, it makes me think of that. So that's why I would not watch it or cover Love After Lockup. A lot of people have been asking me to do that. Sorry, no. But anyway, enough of rant about that. I'll see you guys tomorrow for The Other Way. And y'all stay safe and have a good one. Love you guys. Bye.